Basically, a CSA is like, let's say you buy, they call it a share. So you can upfront, for a certain amount of money, you can be guaranteed a fresh delivery of produce almost every week throughout the growing season, spring, summer, and fall. So they will give you whatever they're harvesting off of their farm. So if it's in the winter, you might be getting carrots, onions, and lettuce. If it's in the summer, you'll get tomatoes, peppers, and all the other wonderful things that we have. So you're just getting a share of what they're growing at any given point.
In Wilson County, we have those 50 to 150 acre farms. What do they produce as far as crops? Number one is hay and pasture. We're not a big corn, we're not a big cotton, we're not a big soybean, but we are number 8 in hay and pasture. That's predominantly what that acreage in Wilson County is grown for. So the livestock end of it, if you travel anywhere in Wilson County, the number one thing you're going to see is beef cattle. They cover the county, and that's our number one livestock product in the county. If we look at where we rate in Tennessee, we're number 8 out of 95 counties, which is pretty good. We're up there. And the reason for that is because of all this grass that we can produce and our poor quality soils. This soil can produce an abundant amount of grass. It will not produce corn, cotton, or soybeans. So that's why we're number 8, and we're very high in cattle and calves. Interestingly enough, goat numbers, we're number 1 in the state. We're number 2, Tennessee is number 2 in the nation in the number of goats that are produced on our land. But 65, we have a few layers, quite a few horses. The horse numbers are growing. We're number 4 in the state in our horse numbers.
So we have a little bit of everything, a little bit of every breed here. And a lot of that reason is because when our boys were in 4-H, they wanted to show different kind of breeds. And so we still have a little bit of that left. Now, all these right here are really young. These are only a week to 2 weeks old. And we're going to feed them. They get fed twice a day on a bottle. Sometimes we move them to a bucket, but we're going to get to feed these on a bottle right here. And this is what their bottle looks like. And like I said, they get fed once in the morning, once at night, and they also have water and feed inside there. And we keep them on this usually a couple of months, between 2 and 3 months, and it depends on how well they're eating their feed. This is the way a dairy breed is built. You know, when you have a beef cow, he'll be round and fat because you're going to be eating steaks out of him. But dairy cows, they produce milk, and they are made to produce milk. And somebody better than us knew what he was doing. Roy will probably tell you about the breeding program, but almost all our cows are bred AI. That's artificial insemination. Seth, our middle son, does all the breeding program. And these are registered calves. They're just like just like dogs. If you have a dog that's registered with the AKC, then we are registered with their breed. These are Brown Swiss, and they're registered with the Brown Swiss Association. And Seth goes through the books and picks out semen and breeds too. You do it for genetics, for genetic purposes. Like if you have, when you look in the bull semen book, it has all kinds of different categories. And if you want to It's really important that they get milk from their mother for the first 3 days. It's very, very important. It has a colostrum inside in that milk. It's very important to protect the calf against some diseases. So it's very important that we feed that. We also have sometimes some milk that we cannot put in the tank if we've treated something or a cow has, you know, something we dump that milk, so we use that milk to feed. And then we do what's called turn them dry. And this gives their body time, you know, they're expecting another calf, and this gives them time to rest, you know, and for that calf to grow. And so it's called turning them dry, so we don't milk them during those 3 months. And then they have a baby, and the maternity lot's back there, and we check it depending on, you know, when you get used to cows, you just know, you know, there's signs, you know, of them, you know, they start have a discharge, and they get kind of restless, or they go off by themselves, you know, it's just, you know, different signs, so you just watch them. And particularly when you have bred artificially, you know about the date that they should be, but they're kind of like women, they're not always exactly on time. And so we go back and check the maternity lot, several times a day, depending. And we usually try to get them up in the barn, before they calve, so they calve in a clean place there in the barn.
They come in here, they pretty much automatically come in. Every now and then we'll have to drive them in. We milk twice a day. It takes about 4.5 to 5 hours every morning, every night to do it. Me and one of my brothers does it every night, and this is our only employee, Lance Bradford. He milks 5 mornings a week for us. But what he was just doing, he was wiping the end of each pit, cleaning off any bacteria or anything before you hang them. And when they get through milking, as I said, the milkers will come off automatically, the one that works right. And then we put an iodine-based chip on each pit just to keep any bacteria from going inside our rug. The milk flows through here, down through this line, into the big receiver jar, and then it is also a filter system into the tank. They pick our milk up every other day. The cows are getting about 8 gallons of milk per cow per day right now. And that is an average. There's some that get more and some that's less. Our milk goes to Birmingham, Alabama, which is co-owned or owned by the same company that owns Superior. That's one thing about the dairy industry. It's pretty much all owned by one group. The processing, the structure, it's all owned by the same. The milk is cooled down to 30 degrees pretty much immediately after we get through milking. It's got to stay somewhere between 37 and 30 degrees before it goes on the counter. As y'all seen down there, there's several different breeds of pigs down there. We got every breed here at Southern Milking Store. You got anything else you want to say here, Bill? Dairy products are highly regulated. They're closely scrutinized before you get a chance to buy them. We keep our cows in confinement while they're in their lactating phase, while they're producing milk. And these stalls are bedded with sawdust. The sawdust is a byproduct of Steve's Ash and Northern Leather. We use that product. We use lime. That's a byproduct of the zinc industry in Florida. Question that people ask, some people question why you have your cows in confinement. And a day like today, you think, well, they should be laying out in the nice green grassy field. But the other side of that coin is if you could look forward to, say, January when it's 20 degrees and winds blowing out of the north and it's cold, they're laying out there in that nasty condition. It's really difficult on them and us too. But we feed our cows what's called a total mixed ration. Everything that these cows eat goes into this big mixture back here. It's mixed up. Two basic components of our ration are what we produce locally, what we grow here. Corn silage is one of them, and then we make a product called baleage, which is just the same as making dry round bales of hay, except with baleage where it's green, we wrap it in plastic, and it goes through an instant process. Those are the two main things, those are the two basics of our ration.
Agricultural county. The major industry in our county, economically, is still agriculture. Even though we may be urban, and most of you are not even connected, okay, with it. Still a small percentage, but we are still an agricultural county. I'm very appreciative of the fact that Leadership Wilson focuses on agriculture. Dory, great idea, and I think they've always done that, okay? And as Diane said earlier, they had done this, they had hosted this group for 19 years now, and Leadership Wilson's been going on.
But with Harvard, it was
No, just
Okay, these calves weighed in the 635 to 650 pound range. They brought like $1.63. The steers, and the female, the heifers we call it, brought $1.51. So about a dime a pound. We don't think as much of the female. Now, some 2-year-olds would be 2-year-old in January right here. They'll have their first calves in January as a 2-year-old. And then the oldest cow here is 6. At the other farm we have out there, the cows go from 6 to 12, 13. Our hay is fed today. Just a few of us got brave enough to try to unroll some. And once we started it, saved me 300 rolls of hay. So you can figure that up. That's a lot of money. And I'm still giving my cows enough hay that they're not hurting or anything. You know, you're setting them out as a buffet, I call it, and they like us. We go there and eat till we can't eat anymore. And then they're miserable. They got to go off and lay down until they feel better. So they can't, you know, they can't be doing their job, raising their calf and all that good. So.
But we provide money. Now there are other sources of money. Large commercial banks provide funding for farmers also. The issue with large commercial banks or commercial banks is they like to be in agriculture when agriculture is good. They don't like to be in agriculture when agriculture is not good. And agriculture is very cyclical. Prices go up, prices go down, production's good, production stinks. It's all over the board. So if the farmers don't have a steady source of dependable financing, they cannot provide food to you as cheaply as they do.
See those bottles of water you got? What does that have to do with corn?
Plastic.
Plastic. Plastic has corn products in it. Baby powder. Corn is a major product within that. Tomato soup.
100% tomato.
Clumps. What does it have to do with it? Sweet. Once again, a high fructose corn syrup. Tuna. What does that have to do with it? Nothing. I just thought.
I was wondering when you brought a can of tuna.
Now, some of you may still use envelopes to mail things, and I'm, like Ricky's probably old enough that we like to hold and fold stuff like this in an envelope. What does that have to do with corn? It's not, the paper's not made with corn, but how they bind the wood fibers together is bound with corn products. Post-it notes. How would we live without those things? The sticky on that post-it note, corn products.
Yep.
We're all managed.
Now Jeff manufactures bladeful gold, honey. But I think it's really artificial. It comes out of possum tank. Doesn't it?
It may be. It might get processed.
It's got processed in possum tank.
All of them have. See the honey, I mean them bees put caps, see that's caps right there. If it wasn't caps right there, all that honey would fall out of it, but it's capped.
Oh, so you're just clearing the caps off. So
Be an engineer, so each one of those cells is in hexagon.
cool.
I need,
We have 400. Here, try this one.
jump in here and talk about all the plants. Y'all ready?
So what they're doing is they're down there with 1,200 hives. They've already used one. Now they got 2,400. And then they turn around. They're going to split it again in 3 weeks. I know. I'm a Wilson County inspector for the club. And we went through a state certification class. So they called me in this area. We had a scare of Africanized bees.
Talking about pollination. If you don't have pollination, you're going to live on 4 vegetables. 4 vegetables only, because you got to have bees for pollination. That's the wind-blown pollinators, like the corn and your cucumbers and that sort of thing. But I like more vegetables.
Small independent businesses are unique. We deal with a whole different set of circumstances and those kind of things. We have fun here pretty much every day. These folks continue most of the time, and that's
Time to send out the fall mums and that kind of thing. We do garden baskets. We've got one back there that's got the flowering kale and chrysanthemums you'll see as you pass by. It's a good seasonal gift, and it's really worked well for us on the plant plants and the mums.
Most of our flowers come in these boxes. Some of them are a little bigger, some of them are a little smaller. All the flowers get checked to make sure that they're in good condition. And then they're invoiced to make sure that everything's here that we had ordered. So they don't charge us for anything we haven't learned. And then I open all the boxes. We cut all of our flowers. These are our rainbow roses. They're on sale for $14.99 a dozen at any time. If you want to walk in and get a dozen, it's a great price. All of our flowers get processed back here. We check them to make sure that they're okay. Every flower gets cut underwater. It gets put into a quick dip solution, which is an instant hydrating solution to help the flowers drink. And then we bring them over right over here, okay? And we put them all. Most of our roses come in on Monday. Our carnations, our Gerber daisies, anything that we use daily, you know. And the seasons change with the flowers. You know, you'll get your spring flowers in, and now we're working on all of our fall flowers. There, we're gonna fill this one up. There we go. Thank you. Good job. Thank you. Very nice. Hey, look at that one. I'm loving it.
Yeah, only $20.
That's right. Good.